Um, Apparently, David Letterman did a little skit
Did he?
to acknowledge the news where he read the news that the president has appointed a transgender person, Amanda Simpson, and put her picture up. And then one of his cronies on the stage yells, Amanda was a guy, oh my God, and goes running off the stage.
So now a lot of
Okay.
people have taken offense.
A lot of people
that.
have taken offense to that. There we are.
Yeah.
The HRC, Human Rights Campaign, has drafted a letter in response to numerous queries from transgender activists. Sent a letter of complaint to The Late Show with David Letterman in light of Tuesday night's skit in which he poked fun at the Obama appointee Amanda Simpson. The letter addressed to Letterman with a copy to CBS Entertainment President Nina Tassler called the skit transphobic, said the punchline in your skit has been used as a defense in nearly every hate crime perpetuated against transgender people that has come to a trial.
Wow.
Trans activists took to the web almost immediately after the skit aired to express their disappointment, but not everyone is pointing the finger at Letterman. Some argue the skit was actually making fun of the narrow-minded, stereotypical response to learning a friend or colleague is trans.
Yeah, well, take it how you want, I guess.
Yeah. So that's the other interesting little row that's going on right now. Letterman.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's bound to happen. Never fails. But anyway.
You want more?
Well,
Because I know we got more.
If you've got it, go ahead.
Well, this is, I found this very, very interesting and mildly satisfying in the category of gender equality.
Okay.
After a protracted application process and hand-wringing by state and county bureaucrats, the Shady Lady Ranch in Nevada's Nye County will officially now offer liaisons with male sex workers. Nevada County approves male sex workers. On Tuesday, a county licensing and liquor board approved the longstanding request to include shady men at the ranch.
Wow.
Last month, the Nevada Board of Health voted to change health codes so that male sex workers can be tested for infectious disease, a stipulation for brothel workers in the state. This individual is reporting. She says, I personally feel, as do many other women who have made contact with me since I started this was the woman who was pushing to have it happen, that this is a service whose time has come.
Okay. Yes. Nevada. Yeah. Okay.
On the front of gender equality. There's
Very
some
interesting.
follow-up from previous week's news. The mayor of Mexico City has refused to veto the bill introducing gay marriage. The city's administration had passed on December 21st a law allowing same-sex marriages in Mexico City, and there was some talk about whether or not the mayor would refuse to sign it or not.
Right.
And he has agreed he will not refuse, has refused to veto the bill, that he will sign it. Hong Kong will implement an amendment to its domestic violence ordinance. This was an interesting one. To protect same-sex couples against violence. This is something that I know even Ron Suresh has talked about as well, and has been a big issue that same-sex couples can suffer from the same kinds
sure.
of
Domestic
relationship
violence,
so domestic violence.
Absolutely.
But the reporting rate is so much lower because of the stigma around it.
Right.
Yeah.
The amendments to this are made in light of the fact that similar special power interface dynamics and risk factors exist between heterosexual cohabitants, might also exist between same-sex cohabitants in intimate relationships, and render the victims reluctant to report to the police and the abusers, the abuser's acts of violence.
Yeah.
He stressed that the amendment, this is the flip side for Hong Kong, he stressed that the amendment should not be regarded as equivalent to giving legal recognition to same-sex relationships. However, we are extending the law to protect same-sex cohabitants in intimate relationships.
Okay. Well, it's a step in the right direction anyway.
And yeah, and it's something more concrete than we've seen in a lot of states here.
Yeah,
Recognizing that that can be a very serious problem.
sure. That's good.
Portugal is expected to approve gay marriage this week.
Wow.
This Friday, a bill will come up for debate in Parliament. It's thought that the law is almost certain to pass as left-wing parties who are supportive of same-sex marriage occupy a majority of the seats. And down in Florida, Cynthia Nixon, one of the Sex and the City stars,
Sure.
is kicking off a campaign to repeal Florida's ban on gays and lesbians adopting. She's kicking off the American Civil Liberties Union's 3-year campaign to end the ban on same-sex adoption, on gay adoption this week at South Beaches Shore Club.
Good for her.
And right next door to us, lawmakers in Rhode Island have approved a law to allow people in same-sex relationships to make funeral arrangements for their partners. Some of those things that people don't think about.
You don't think about it, I know, until it happens.
until it happens.
and then it's like, oh my God.
yeah,
Yeah.
where if, these are some of the fundamental differences when people say, well, but we recognize your relationship, we're just going to call it something different. Yeah, but there's a lot of little laws out there that list, marriage specifically.
Sure.
Married couples can.
Right. Well, it smacks of the same argument that that has sickened us so in our country in the past of separate but equal. Separate is
Right.
not equal.
Right.
And it's important to protect relationships in the same way and in the same context as every other one. It's
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this actually extends to all couples because it simply requires that they be over 18 and in an exclusive relationship with the deceased for at least a year, be able to show financial dependency through a joint tenancy or bank account. So it applies both to same-sex and heterosexual unmarried couples. But gay rights campaigners welcome it as an important piece of equality legislation.
Sure.
If you're in a committed relationship and your partner dies, it doesn't matter what they look like.
Right. And that's a good thing. It's a terrible thing, but imagine, being in that situation and
right.
not being able to do, or not being able to exercise the last wishes of the person that you
Right.
love.
You just lost the love of your life. You're at your most vulnerable, and now
Yeah.
any decision making is taken away from you.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the quotes from Kathy Kushner, Executive Director of Marriage Equality Rhode Island. She says, "Now, at the worst time of their lives, people won't have to fight simply to lay their loved ones to rest."
Yeah. Good. That's positive. Yeah. Good news in general.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gains.
We move forward, and
On the same front, there's a note here that the Obama administration has updated the federal jobs website to include language prohibiting employment discrimination based on gender identity. The move makes gender identity one of the traits covered by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. The policy change protects federal employees and applications for federal jobs on usajobs.gov. So again, reaching out as far as he can without legislation.
yeah.
Right.
And then the talk was here about repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. They're talking about the likelihood of repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell this year hinges on whether the Defense Department includes the policy change in their budget recommendation that they send to Capitol Hill. That essentially Capitol Hill will take their cue from the budget recommendation. The Defense Department submits a budget recommendation, and then Congress decides if they like that budget or not, and pass the one they do like. But the policy recommendations apparently worked out very closely with the President's administration, And well, the president wants to see it repealed. He can't do much about it without legislators.
Right.
And the notion is that if the